I'm Simon Keane-cowell, I'm editor-in-chief at Architonic, and I'm absolutely delighted to have Fabio and Paolo here, who are Calvi Brambilla, who are, among other things, the go-to architects for super sophisticated and intriguing stand design. I think we were just talking earlier. Welcome, first of all, to both of you. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
And
good afternoon.
You were just listing there the brands for whom you've designed their stand at the Salone this year. Do you just want to run through the brand names?
Yeah.
So not only at the Salone, but actually in the city as well.
Well, at the Salone, we designed the booth for Zanotta, Pedrali, help me, because I don't remember the others, Janus
so
NC, which is an American brand for outdoor collection, Olivari, handles, Quadro Design, and then, what else? Desalto, and Antonio Lupi.
Is that it? That's not much.
Yes, this is too much.
But it's amazing. I mean, you've won several awards with your designs for these fair exhibition platforms, as it were. I'm fascinated by this type of work. I mean, this isn't the total of your work. You're architects, you're also designers, but there's something very particular, and particularly now, I think, about stand design, because we've had this hiatus, this break for a couple of years because of the pandemic. We had this very reduced concept last September for Salone, Super Salone, Stefano Guerri's concept. It looks like we've just gone back to the old days, and one could argue that's fantastic, that each brand gets to express itself not only in terms of its new products, but also in terms of the design of the architectural space of its stands. Is it a good move, or is it also, could you read it as a kind of bad move, that we're back to excess, we're back to too much materials being used, too much waste? What do you guys think?
I think that the Salone is back. It's huge, and the grandeur of the past is back. Of course, many things changed, and we are trying to be more sustainable from many point of views. And we are also trying to be less conservative in a way. So it was quite difficult. It was quite difficult this year because many things changed. All the pricing of the materials rised up a lot.
Right.
So it was actually difficult to manage many things. The world changed a lot. But conceptually speaking, we are always trying to look forward. And with Zanotta, for example, we are celebrating together with the company an anniversary of an important masterpiece. That's the Quaderna series,
right,
of tables and stuff. And iconic masterpiece that was designed by a radical group in the late 60s, first 70s, and that was a magic moment. So we took inspiration from that magic moment to start again.
Right.
We had two anniversaries this year, the Zanotta one and the Floss also, which is the 60th anniversary, and we celebrated with a special edition of the Arco.
Right.
I don't know if you see it.
With a crystal base.
With the crystal base.
Right.
It's crystal cane. It's an optic crystal. It's the cleanest and clear crystal ever possible.
Right.
And it's a limited edition for celebrating this year. Quite controversial.
Right. And can you say a bit about your process when it comes to designing stands? I mean, what the initial, what is the starting point? So obviously, a stand design has to What are its key criteria in terms of functionality? It has to be able to show products, house products. It also has to be quite robust. There's a lot of footfall over many days. What about storytelling? What about, I don't know, particular kind of material usage? I mean, you mentioned that, you know, the price of materials.
Well, the initial part is me forcing Paolo to work because he's very lazy.
True.
And then when we get this point, we start the discussion, and you know, normally we doesn't have any brief. I mean, people that are working with us, they know what to expect. So if they have any brief about probably a new product to show, but normally, for example, for Pedrali, they are always asking, as I was telling you, once we talk, Instagrammable booths. Which are very important at the moment. People want that the picture done in the fair are really clear, and the atmosphere is immediately communicating with the image. So this is an important point.
Can I add something?
Of course, especially about you being lazy. I think
yes, I'm really lazy.
Respond to that.
I think that being lazy is important because when you stay relaxed, you can think a lot. You can think about the things that you have to do. And ask other people to do. So it's
This is all one fantastic advice for you young people who are developing your careers right now.
I'm proud of
maybe
being
slow
lazy.
down a bit.
You can be lazy. You can be
No,
absolutely.
but you wanted to say
actually, seriously speaking, as you, I know that you know, but we exhibition designers that every time design a tailor-made booth for each brand. I mean, we don't have a specific style. We don't want to show our own personality. We prefer to design something that fits perfectly with the personality of the company. If you check the images on our back, every project, every booth is very different from another. That's because we want to make something bespoke for every specific brand.
Dictated, of course, also by budget, right? I mean, there are certain brands who really use the stand. They see the value of it as one of their central marketing activities. This has to be taken into account right from the start, I guess.
Well, yeah, most of the company gave us budgets, which was this year problem. I mean, for the reason Paolo was talking about before, the cost was really increasing from January with the war. Also,
so did you exceed all of the budgets? Or did you?
No,
we reduced the project.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, for example, the Zanotta booth, which was completely covered by this pattern, the Quaderna pattern, was reduced a lot for the half. Because at the beginning was conceived as a whole Quaderna walls, and we reduced it because it was not possible to do that. But you know, it happens. It's our professionality to try to find out solution very quickly. Because, you know, working in exhibition design is not like working in interior when you can postpone the opening. Salone del Mobile is opening. There's one day, which is the opening, so everything has to be ready for that day. And so it's a real rush.
Sure. And can you be honest about how much of these stands physically are reusable? I mean, how many are there? Do you design in elements that can, like a chair that can be dismantled and recycled? In the materials can be separated. Could you say this? Could you say the same thing about your stands?
Well, honestly, frankly speaking, like 40% of the materials are rented. It means that the structure, the false ceilings, and many parts, many structural parts are rented, so they will be reused. Another 40% is easy to recycle. So we are now avoiding specific materials that cannot be recycled, like some kind of flooring are no more suitable for such a temporary exhibition.
Right. Have you ever designed a stand where once you've seen it populated, once visitors arrived, you thought, we've made a mistake, or there's some kind of aspect of it that that only really became apparent to you after it was filled with people? Because I imagine that's quite hard to it's hard to test in advance. I mean, with that number of people, I always find your wayfinding through the circulation through a particularly large stand is very intriguing. You've created some. I'm a huge fan. You've created some amazing kind of experience, kind of journeys through stands over the years. But I always find the idea of entering a stand through the wrong. This is a really, and that changes the experience totally of how you how you perceive how the experience develops.
Well, of course, we have done mistakes. It's part of the game. I mean, it's part of the experience that you face when you start this job. But also because every project is completely different. So there's some things that you can face in advance that you can prevent, but there are some other things because every concept is completely new. So there's solutions that are just done for the first time and you don't know exactly what's happened. And I was thinking on Tuesday when I was at the fair, at the Zanotta booth, it was the first time that I saw it completely finished. So I had the possibility to leave it, but I lived there just for a quarter an hour.
Right.
And then probably I'm not going there no more, and they dismantle it. So we have feedbacks from the clients. There's a few things that we know that they're working good, so we try to repeat it when they're working. And then in some cases we are experimenting things also because we get bored really a lot. So doing exhibition design is really, we're really lucky because the projects are really fast.
Yes.
And then I mean it just lasts there for a week, and they dismantle it, and there are picture, and you can Photoshop pictures. So
absolutely, yes, indeed, and and you can speculate with stand design. You can experiment, as you say, with ideas that you wouldn't necessarily be allowed to do if you were creating a permanent structure. It's a fascinating kind of way of pushing the boundaries, testing ideas.
As you know, we are architects, and we when we travel for vacation, we like to visit many masterpieces of the architecture and try to understand how the masters managed the spaces. You know that at the university, some teachers told me that if you have a good design, if you have a good building, the entrance sign is not needed. You have to understand where to go simply because of the structure of the spaces, playing with the height, the different ceilings, playing with the materials, and playing with the instinct of people. So giving them some crucial points, some focuses, it's quite important in our job. But we made a lot of, we make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes, this morning I was at the fair and I like to stay hidden somewhere, watching if people do what I want them to do. So being a designer and architect is like trying to manipulate people.
Yes.
But we don't succeed. Sometimes we do.
That's fascinating, that kind of ethnographic kind of observation of users of the space. But they probably recognize you anyway and say, look, there's Paolo looking at us right now. And
Yes.
they deliberately walk the wrong way down a
As I'm a
passage.
big boy, yeah.
Good stuff. Any questions from you guys?
Please.
You look so young. It's unbelievable. Some of you look like your parents should be with you. That's how fresh-faced you are. But now's your opportunity to just talk or make a comment or a question to Fabio and Paolo. They've been in the business for so long. Yes, Branca.
Of course. Hi, thank you for joining us here
Hi.
today. You mentioned all the brands that you actually worked with this year, and it's a lot of brands. And I was wondering, where do you get the inspiration from working for so many different brands? Because they come with different products and different styles and probably different approaches. Do they kind of give you the freedom to be creative but kind of match it with their style and with their language? What is the process working with so many brands at the same time? And as you said, they all have to be ready on the same date, at the same time. How is this process?
Well, it's a hard process, of course, and basically we are really curious, generally speaking, and we try to find out inspiration from I don't know, music and movies and art. Art is a big place where we can find new inspiration. So we had a kind of mood board available every day, and then it's a question of mixing images, and then it's a process of subtraction. So at the beginning there are a lot of things inside, and but at the end we choose, and it's a very light equilibrium between one boot and another, and the process. And of course you have to satisfy the client, their request you to modify the first project. I mean, it's not that you present the first concept and that they say yes, it's okay. And so it's a long process. Thank God it's not so long, because we work for a booth for basically 3 months. So the installation we had done with for Floss at Fabbrico Robbia, close to the Fondazione Prada, we did the first presentation of the concept. The first presentation was done the 24th of March. And then it develops in a little different way. The concept was there. There was a particular case which, because we were also design curator for the collection. But it's something that is really delicate. We know how to manage, but it takes a long time to knowing, and there's a lot of experience.
If I can add something more, if we work with a completely new client, we start talking to them and trying to learn from them who they are, their values, their character, trying to understand what they would like to be in the future. And after listening, we go home, start brainstorming together, and we go out with a concept. Very often the first concept is wrong, they don't accept it, so we go on with the second concept. And usually the second concept works quite well. And then the machine go. If we already know a company, a client, this first approach was done in the past, so we can be faster enough. But it's at the beginning, at the very beginning, we started talking with marketing people, with the CEO, with them all together, and we are very open to their ideas. You have the sometimes we say no, we do not agree, but just this morning, Monica Pedrali told me that she was very happy of us and of the yes, she said it. Because and of the agency that coordinates the image and the catalogs and so on, the art director of the company, because she said, you are young in the sense that you are very open also to our ideas and you accept a dialogue. The companies don't want anymore to manage divas that have their own style and their own personality that is bigger than the company.
And that's high praise indeed, because I know Monica Pedrali and she's very astute, and so I mean that's a very big compliment, I would say. Oh yes, question from Maite.
I have a question. Yes, what's your opinion? What would you ask to the manufacturers to make the life of the designers easier?
Pay them more. You mean designer or interior designer? Are you talking about design furniture?
You as an industrial designer, yes.
Industrial designer. Ooh. Yeah, I was not joking. I mean, paying them for concepts.
Yeah.
Invest in research, fresh minds.
Yeah, the good companies, great companies in the past and in the present are the ones that invest a lot and spend money even in research, even in something that possibly is just hidden in a story and behind the scenes, because companies that doesn't investigate, doesn't spend money trying to do things that sometimes comes up to nothing, are not good companies.
You know, there's a lot of clients. I mean, there are a few clients that we have that are not investing enough on design, and we are always forcing them to believe in design, which is a hard process, and dealing with designers is not easy. That's why they're not investing, because they doesn't want to have any kind of relationship. They prefer not to have a hard and complicated relationship and make their life easiest, but at the same time they're losing a lot of possibilities. So facing the design process and investigating in new talents, it takes long, and it takes a lot of patience.
A lot of risks.
Yeah.
And you know, in the gold era of the design in the 60s and the 70s, the companies were smaller, but they used to risk a lot and to invest in incredibly disruptive ideas. Today, too many companies are very marketing oriented. And when they invest in something, they are always asking you, can you assure that this thing will work? And it makes no sense managing creativity. We are not sure that something will work.
Absolutely. I think this is a whole other conversation. The expansion of kind of marketing discourse, and but I'm afraid we have to wrap it up here because we've run out of time. But you guys, thanks so much. Your work is brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks to Fabio and Paolo. And guys in the audience, if you have a chance, then please do, before you leave Milan, head to the fair, if you haven't been there already, and check out their stands, because they really are, as Fabio says, they're temporary structures. They're here and then they're gone, but they're really wonderful kind of micro architectural environments that should be experienced.
We also designed the Palazzo Bovara El Decor installation, so if you want to go there, it's really beautiful and close.
And that's closer.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.
Thank you for coming.